How is it going, review and preview fans? I am Noah Dybel, your resident Georgia Bulldogs fan and analyst. And today, I'm recording this on the absolutely beautiful Sunday afternoon. Funny enough, the afternoon on Easter Day. So, this will be uploaded probably way past Easter. Hope everyone watching this did have a good Easter. I know I have. And, while most people decide, hey, let's spend some time with their families or whatnot, let's go out and do something fun on Easter, I decide, hey, let's go ahead and record 5 prospect breakdowns of UGA players to post for draft coverage on the Review and Preview Sports Network. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be talking about 5 different players and players that I really like for the most part. Obviously, no prospect is perfect. So I'm going to be, giving my honest opinions on all of these players. And in the first one, we're going to talk about UGA running back Kenny McIntosh. That is right. Kenny McIntosh, the lead running back for UGA this year, although, as we all know, UGA always runs running back by committee. Their depth chart is typically 3, 4, sometimes even 5 deep. Kenny is a guy that has spent time behind guys like Zamir White, James Cook. I believe he was even spent some time behind DeAndre Swift for a year there. But this was really his chance to get more playing time after White and Cook went to the NFL. He still split time with guys like Kendall Milton and Dejon Edwards. But in my opinion, overall, Kenny McIntosh was the most impressive UGA running back this year. Now, before we get into the film and, the combine stats and all that, I'm going to start with some general thoughts that I have. Not really anything specific, not really going in any specific film just yet. Just my honest opinions off the top of my head about Kenny McIntosh. Now, I'm going to try and do 3 traits for each of these players. Typically try to do 2 positives and 1 negative unless I thought there was something that really needed to be pointed out. So the first thing that really sticks out to me with Kenny McIntosh is the fact this is not a guy that is going to be a 3-down back in the NFL. In my opinion, this is a guy that is a change of pace back, a 3rd down back, comes in on pass catching downs, what have you. He can get a good carry here and there and do stuff with it. But overall, this is not going to be a guy like a Bijan Robinson or a Blake Corum that you expect to go out there and get, 25, 20, maybe even more touches a game. This is a guy that ideally, gets maybe 10 to 15, something like that, coming in as, the backup running back. Actually, funny enough, I think a good comparison is his former teammate, DeAndre Swift. What we saw Swift do last year, once they got Jamal Williams in there as, kind of their lead power back. DeAndre Swift, kind of that change of pace back, that receiving back type of guy. Or, like Sony Michel, but hopefully more productive in the NFL than Sony Michel, in my opinion. I think that's what Kenny McIntosh will be. I think he'll be a really good 3rd down back. But I will say this. He's not slow. I mean, he's not quick. I'll go into the combine stats later. But his game speed, at least for the most part, looks good. And he has underrated strength for that profile player. But in my opinion, I do not believe he is a 3-down back. I think he's also a great pass catcher. I think that's a big strength of his, definitely the biggest strength. He's a good runner, but what makes him stand out the most to me is how good he is at catching the ball, his athleticism. We're going to get into a play later where he just makes an absolutely ridiculous catch pretty much. But yes, I think he will definitely be best served as a pass-catching, receiving running back in the NFL. The only major concerns I have with Kenny McIntosh, the main one, he had some untimely fumbles during the year. I especially remember one against Florida where, we're driving or whatnot. We're trying to put the game away. He fumbles the ball. I think we're up something like 21-3, and Florida gets late in their deep in their territory, and I believe they score a touchdown. There were a lot of moments, I don't have the exact stats up to know how many fumbles he had, but I'd say 2, maybe 3 times this year it felt like UGA was driving to kind of take control of the game, and one of our running backs, either McIntosh or one of the others, fumbled the ball away to kind of give our opponent an extra chance. Now, obviously, it didn't really cost us in any of our games in the end, but I definitely would keep an eye on that. That is something I actually didn't see a lot of scouting reports mention. But I do think that if he is kind of that change of pace back, it's less of an issue. He's going to play less snaps in the NFL, than he did at UGA. And even at UGA, like I said, he was typically splitting time. So, but other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get into the combine stats. And his stats, I've got them up here on my phone real quick. They're very interesting. So the first thing I noticed, his 40 time 4.62, which is the 30th percentile. Obviously, that doesn't jump off the page or anything like that. And really, none of his measurables are anything that you would say absolutely pop off the page at you. They're all, just pretty basic. I mean, he has a 30 and a half arm span. Like I said, his 40 is only a 4.62, 32.5 vert, which is 26 percentile. Broad jump 17th, three cone. Apparently, he did really bad at that because it says he's in the first percentile. So pretty much everyone did better at him than on that drill. But wingspan at 76 and 3/8 is pretty good. But when you look at the combine stats, this is kind of an example, in my opinion, of why combine stats aren't really as big a deal sometimes. I mean, obviously, sometimes they're important, but I do think they're a bit overrated. I mean, this shows that Kenny McIntosh has basically no speed and no athleticism. And as someone who's watched him play for 2 years consistently on my team, that is a lie. He's definitely pretty athletic and fast. I mean, he's not a guy that, like I said, pops off the page at you like, oh my God, who is this, insane athlete? But he's not a guy that you're looking out there and you're like, man, this guy is so slow. This guy can't move at all. You don't really feel that in-game action, which in my opinion is more important than combine stats. But that is something to note. He's also not a great pass blocker, I will say that. But, overall, running the ball and especially receiving, he's pretty good. Underrated elusiveness, I'd say. So let's go ahead and get into some film breakdown here to kind of highlight what I'm talking about here with Kenny McIntosh. There's a lot to go into. I've got a couple of clips here. I have one video that's a little bit longer in case I want to kind of break down multiple things with Kenny McIntosh. But I will start with this video. This video is from I believe this is from the championship game. Yes, it is. Okay, so the 2021 national championship game against Alabama. This is in the fourth quarter, so, this is a pretty important time of the game. Definitely, crunch time portion of the game. But I just want to show you something here about Kenny McIntosh's athleticism, particularly in the passing game here. We're going to play this clip real quick in real time, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. It's just a, standard pass play. Kenny McIntosh is able to make a nice catch in coverage, but I want to slow this down real quick so you can actually see what Kenny McIntosh does here. So we see here first, he bobbles the ball here. So this is the first time he bobbles the ball. There's a guy, a defender right there. So this is not definitely an easy catch to make, but we see here at the 12-second mark, he bobbles the ball. We play a little bit more. He bobbles it again just a second later. And then we see one more time, bobbles the ball again. At this point, he is being tackled by Branch. Branch is trying to bring this guy down, and he's still basically trying to fight for his life to get the ball. But we see here, he's able to get the ball with one hand. Definitely not the cleanest play by any means, but that's the kind of athleticism this guy has, that type of ball concentration while he was getting tackled, no less, is probably one of the most insane plays I have ever seen from Kenny McIntosh. Another play that sticks out to me that shows both positives, I'd say, and a little bit of a negative is from the Ohio State game. This one's a little bit funny, but it also shows some of the stuff that he can do. So we'll go ahead and put this up here real quick. Like I said, this is from the college football playoff semifinal this year, and we're going to see Kenny McIntosh pulls what is called a Daniel Jones. We'll see it right here. This is, a play that looks remarkable at first, so we'll go ahead and watch it. Pretty stacked front from Ohio State, it looks like, but he gets the ball, good blocking, and it looks like he's gone. He's got one man to beat. He makes him, he misses him, no problem, but then he's defeated by the turf monster. So after leaving all the defenders in the dust and juking basically the last man he has to beat out, we'll see it again right here real quick. But yeah, we see, 7 or 8 Ohio State guys up in the box. He's able to beat the box. One man to beat, and he has good athleticism and elusiveness, like I said, but then the undefeated turf monster, man, it gets him right there. So definitely, an interesting play right there. But this guy isn't a stick on the field, okay? He has good strength. He's not a guy like a Derrick Henry or anything ridiculous like that. But this isn't a guy that, you just had to breathe on him and he's instantly going to bowl over. He can show some toughness when he needs to. This is from the Florida game this year. So we're going to see him get the handoff here. Makes contact with a couple guys. But look at this. He's able to drive forward and get the first down after first contact. Gains about 3 or 4 more yards. We'll see it again here. Good cut to the outside as well, but, makes one man miss there, and then he's got another guy tackling him there, but is able to dive forward for extra yardage. We'll see another play here. Once again, just basically, if you give Kenny McIntosh good blocking, he can get an easy 7-8 yards before first contact. One thing I will say, he's not the best at finding holes. He's very patient, is what I'd say, which is great when you're behind a hog maul UJ offensive line or whatnot. But if you're in the NFL, you need to be able to make split decisions. And we'll see if Kenny McIntosh is able to do that at the next level. But, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, there's 2 more plays I want to try and find here. Let's see what this is. I don't think this is it. No, this is just him getting stacked up. Early in the third quarter, I'm pretty sure this is the play if I remember right. I believe this is the fumble. Yeah, this is the fumble. He just gets stripped pretty much. Pretty standard, strip fumble right there. I think he got a little bit careless with the ball, in my opinion, which is why I brought up the fumbles as a little bit of an issue. But, that was 21-10 at that point. But, he's able to make up for it. Look at the strength diving forward there, for extra yardage, which is crucial to get those key first downs in a rivalry game such as this. Obviously, Florida is not the best right now, 6-7 the last 2 years, but they're still a heated rivalry of ours. And, we need that extra bit of physicality in these games. And, once again, getting to the outside, just excellent effort. Just excellent ability to get the outside and fight for all the extra yardage, make tacklers miss and whatnot. If he can just, I think if he can just take care of the ball a little bit better, Kenny McIntosh will be excellent as that kind of change of pace back. But after all of that, what is my verdict, my final verdict on Kenny McIntosh? This is a tough one. In my opinion, I believe Kenny McIntosh, first of all, I want to say this draft class for running backs is absolutely loaded. It is the amount of depth. The fact you can get a guy like Spears from Tulane after like 5 or 6 other running backs is absolutely insane in my opinion, because that guy's an animal. Scored like 4 touchdowns against USC, whatnot. But Kenny McIntosh, because of how many good running backs there is, I think he could slip a little bit. I think he might be, the 10th or 11th running back taken. And in my opinion, I could be wrong. I believe Kenny McIntosh will definitely go on day 3, but I'm leaning more towards him being a 3rd-round pick. I could be wrong. He could go in the 2nd, but I think he's more of a early to mid 3rd-round pick for a team that's not looking for a franchise back or anything, but looking for another guy to add to their backfield, to get more depth, to spread the touches around more. I believe that is what Kenny McIntosh will be in the NFL, and I hope he proves. I hope he does even more. I hope he exceeds expectations, because I love this guy. I think he's a really tough fighter. He's a tough kid. Underrated strength, like I said. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about Kenny McIntosh? Where do you think he's going to get drafted? What do you think he will do? Or what type of profile do you think he will be when he plays in the NFL? Let me know your thoughts. And until the next video where I believe I'm talking about Nolan Smith next. Noah Dibler of the Review and Preview Sports Network, signing out. We'll see you next time.